Oh, mosquito. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for those of you who are joining us. Thank you so much for tuning in. I wanted to do this live. It's 3:38 a.m. in Dar es Salaam time. So I know, a lot of people are probably uh, busy at the moment, but I'm going to make this live regardless. Again, I was awakened from my sleep and told to speak to the people in regards to obedience to their calling, whatever that calling is, whether it's your calling to be a surgeon, a doctor, things like that. Um, Obeying God's callings is extremely important, especially when God gives you that uh, that vision or that calling to move, to travel, to go to a certain place. Those visions to move or travel or go to a certain place, those callings are extremely valuable and extremely important because you don't know what it is that you're supposed to be doing when you receive those callings or where you're supposed to be going. You know, you don't know how many lives you are going to change and uplift and support by being obedient to that calling. Let's say, for example, if your calling is to be a lawyer to serve the underserved, and imagine how many people are being touched by your work. Let's say, for example, the Innocent Project, where those lawyers are called in their heart to serve the innocent and people who have been wrongfully imprisoned. And imagine the hundreds and hundreds of people that they have helped, and then the families of those people who they have restored, and then the generations of those children of the fathers that they have brought home. So that is just like a drop in the bucket of an example of how valuable it is to follow the callings, right, that you have been given over your life, whether that is for your career or whether that is to move to a certain place or travel to a certain place. And as I said, many of you who have watched that video, the last video that I posted, oh, by the way, that's just a statue here. It's not somebody hiding in the corner. And I know it looked weird, but I'm sorry. Yeah. For those of you who have a calling on your life or have something that you know you're supposed to do, or you have instruction that you're supposed to follow, and it's your calling, it doesn't make any sense to you or anyone else around you. It is not for anyone else to interpret or determine or say yay or say nay about what it is that you are supposed to do. It is for you in your heart to know what you are supposed to do and how to do those things. And God has already put in you all of the work that needs to be done, and I'm here talking about this. I obviously have my own testimony, but I want to talk to you generally. If you have something that you know you are supposed to do, please stop procrastinating, stop delaying, stop second guessing, stop doubting, stop half stepping, stop confusing yourself, just stop it. Because you have already been prepared to do this thing, right? And no one is saying it's going to be easy, or because it's really, really, really tough when you are living in an obedient life. If you have by any means made any covenant with God in your heart to say, I am your tool, use me how you will, use me for the benefit of other people. If you have made those covenants in your heart, and God says, okay, well, I would like to use you. I would like to use you to go and do this thing over here. And you're like, well, it doesn't really fit in my plans. It's not a good time. It's not, those things are not productive. Because I tell you what, when you do those things, when you procrastinate, or when you decide that it's not for, God is touching you and telling you, but the timing is not convenient to you, God will make it convenient to you. And on top of that, and you don't want it that way. You don't want the when God makes it happen for you. You want to do things peacefully, and you want to do things orderly, and you want to make things happen in the way in which it should happen, harmoniously. But again, it's very difficult to step out on faith, to step out on from the intangible to the tangible. It's very difficult to tell someone, I have a feeling in my heart that I should do this thing because I had this instruction given to me. And how do you test that instruction to determine that it was something actually valuable to you? Number one, does it help other people? Is your presence, or is your move, or your shift, or whatever, specifically designed to help other people? Cha-ching, if you can check that box, you know that you are walking on the path of God. Number of the instruction of, being obedient. Number two, does it align with your skill set? Is it something that only you can do? Is it something that your neighbor over there can do? No. Is it something that if your great Uncle John got that vision, he could get up and do? No. Is it specific to you? And sometimes you don't even realize how specific to you the work is until you actually start doing the work. For example, the CMOS business that I started, the CMOS company here. When I initially started in the CMOS business, number one, I was reluctant because everybody and their mom is selling CMOS. So I didn't really want to get into the CMOS business. I'm a consumer of CMOS. But number two, there were things in that business that are specific to me, as well as this house. When it was revealed to me that I should take this house and convert it for the repatriation for people coming back. It was revealed to me that it was specific. There are specific things that only I could do. The project management, the construction, all the things that I was already prepared for prior to moving. I mean, 15, 12, 10, 9, 8, 7. If you go through the pages of my life, these were things that I had already been doing and prepared myself for, even though I did not know exactly what the mission was. I was following the little things that says, maybe I should go and take this real estate course over here. You follow that. Maybe I should go and read this book. You follow that. You follow the little things that lead to bigger things, because when the calling comes to you, you are going to have to be prepared for that. So don't ignore the things that are coming to you that are saying, well, why don't you go and do some research in marine biology? You don't know what you might find in life. I used to love marine biology. Don't ask me why. I felt like that's what I wanted to do as a growing up. As a small child, that was my very first career choice. And I have used that in understanding the seaweed and all the different things. But I'm not going, I digress. I want to talk to you about your calling. Because if you have a calling on your life, right? And you would be very surprised to see how the calling on your life affects the people around you when you are disobedient to your calling. Okay, so let's go back again to the book of Jonah. It's one of the shortest books in the Bible, but it's an example. Jonah was a prophet, and he was instructed that he was supposed to go to Nineveh. And he said, "No, I'm not doing that. No, thank you, God. That's not for me." And when he decided to board a boat, right, and go to Tarshish instead, when he got on that boat, immediately the seas became rough. And all of the people on the boat were like, "What is going on?" And each of them started calling out to their God to stop the sea from breaking their boat apart. And they began throwing things overboard, meaning that they had a financial loss. They started to do things around them to try to stop this thing that was going on that was so strange, right? And Jonah just went to sleep. He was like, "Well, I know I'm the cause of this problem. I'll just go down here and have myself a sleep," because he knew what he was supposed to be doing. And he was like, "Forget them." Can you imagine you have a calling on your life that you're supposed to do a specific thing, and you are not doing that specific thing, and you go to other people for help, and you go to those people for help and you watch them suffer. You watch them incur financial loss. You watch a storm breaking their ship apart because you know you're supposed to go somewhere else. You know you're supposed to be up somewhere else, but you go to sleep. That's trifling. That is very trifling. So when you have a calling on your life, it doesn't just affect you when you are disobedient, it affects those around you because you were not obedient to your calling. Okay? So, for those of you who have a calling, whether that calling is to come to Africa or come wherever, you know in your heart, I don't, you do. You know what you're supposed to do. But if you are disobedient to the thing that you're supposed to do, right? And you feel like, well, okay, well, I'm not going to do that. Be prepared for the storm. Be prepared for the storm around you. Be prepared to witness people around you who will have loss. Be prepared for the people around you who will incur financial difficulty as a direct result of you and your calling. Be prepared, okay? Go back and watch my videos part 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3. That was my storm. That was my storm. I was in the middle of my storm, and I knew I was enduring that storm because I knew that I had a calling and I was going the wrong way. And had everything panned out hunky dory in North Carolina, I would not, I would not have made the move or done the things that I needed to do. So I was in the middle of my storm, and I was aware that I was in my storm, and it affected Johanna, and it threw her little boat and put her little boat in a tailspin and put her in a whirlpool, and she was going down as a result of something that I did not do, because I had yoked myself to my creator and I said, "Use me as you will." Do with me as you will. You formed me in my mother's womb. You took me from the darkness of my father's seed. You shaped me and formed me and created me and put me on this earth. Reveal to me the thing that I must do, and I will go and do it. And when the thing was revealed to me, I went all over the place. I went everywhere else but where I was supposed to go. And I endured a storm, and a storm that was so vicious that it completely changed my life and the way I think and the way I have relationships and the way I deal with people and the way I communicate with people. But that was my doing because I was disobedient. And many of you who are mothers and fathers of children who are depending on you to be obedient to your creator, many of you are not going to approve of the way in which that lesson is going to be revealed to you, because you are no longer alone. You cannot make decisions just for yourself anymore. You're making decisions for the dependent ones, the ones who depend on you for love, for nurturing, for shelter, for guidance, for protection, for growth, for improvement, for their life. You mothers are the ones who by your actions are the ones designing the life that your children will have. If you decided tomorrow morning that you're going to take your dependent ones and go to Germany, they're going to speak Dutch. They're going to go to a German school. They're going to learn German customs and cultures, and they are going to marry German women, and you're going to have little German babies. And that is as a result of something, a decision that you make. But many people who are not immigrants don't understand how powerful and impactful the decision that the head of the family makes to say, I'm going over there. This is not working out. This doesn't look right. This looks like something that God wants me to do. So I'm going over there. When you go over there, you have made the decision to change the complete trajectory of your children and your grandchildren and the generations to come. So it is a very powerful thing when you have been given a vision to leave, a vision to move. This channel is all about Africa. You can go to any of these 54 countries. They're beautiful, they're gorgeous. Make a decision, choose one. If you know that you have a calling or an instruction to go to Africa, to find somewhere in Africa to go to, you must be obedient to that, and you cannot delay. You cannot delay, you cannot drag your feet. Excuse me. And this goes the same for your work. If you know that you got a calling to go be a brain surgeon, go and do that. Don't sit there. Do not procrastinate. Don't say, well, from point A to point Z, how am I going to go become a brain surgeon? You have to make the first step. You have to show interest. You have to go to school. You have to do the pre-med classes. You have to get the little approvals that you need. There are certain things that you need, but if you know you have a calling, by God, do not ignore that. Don't play games with that, because that is a very, very, very purpose of your existence. Okay? We are all here to serve other people. And in this place that I am, that I was shifted and positioned into, I had to use myself when the opportunity presented itself to serve. And it has been called upon me in more ways than one. I have been called upon to serve the diaspora, to serve the people who are looking to come to Africa, looking for a place to be, looking for the next step, trying to find out what they should do, how they should do it, where they should do it, what is the best move for them based on their own their personal family issues and needs, their experience and their background. And that's what the repatriation workshops are all about. Okay. Again, I was called with the seaweed, and I got into the seaweed very eagerly, the sea moss business. I got in there very eagerly because I saw immediately how I could use myself and the sea moss as a social development tool, meaning using it as a tool to uplift and improve poverty. And immediately when I went and met the women is that the sun? No. Oh, it's only 3 o'clock. 4 o'clock. Ain't no sun coming up 4 o'clock. That's just a reflection. So I knew immediately what that was about. I knew immediately what I was supposed to do. Going to the villages and seeing the poverty and understanding the poverty and understanding that all that you see, only have the you have the skills and the wherewithal to see it through to the end. And I said, I can use this as a social development tool to uplift, number one, the farmers, and number two, the people who are looking to invest in Africa. And number three, I can use myself and the company to create a bridge or to create a tool by which we can uplift using the diaspora, uplift people, African people, Tanzanian people from poverty using the sea moss. So I set out to design a company specifically around those ideas. The first thing I did was sign the United Nations Social Development Goals. The next thing I did, I partnered with organizations like the World Wildlife Fund. I partnered with different community entities to try to bring opportunities to the farmers and the women. And then the next level is the diaspora, is the community that actually consumes it, is to create synergies and relationships, whether that's through investments or through export, you know, in the West for the actual consumers of the product. And that's what I set out to do. And somewhere along the line, the work itself, I was not able to raise the kind of capital that I needed to do the work because I was consumed doing the work. It's like saying, well, I was stitching the sails to the sailboat, and so trying to sail the ship. And I was trying to row the boat and stitch the sailboat and do everything that had to do with this boat, but still the journey to row the boat and get the boat going, I needed more people to help me row and do what I needed to do. But I digress because I wanted to talk to people about their calling, and I wanted to talk to people about their calling. And I'm using myself an example because you should know who you are and what you were called to do. You should know who you are and where you are supposed to be. And if you know these things and you're not being obedient to your callings, there is a thrashing waiting for you. And that is pretty much what that experience that I went through is about. It was a thrashing, and there is a thrashing, and there is a bigger thrashing coming for those who actually stand in your way. If you know that you have a calling on your life and you're working towards that calling, and people are in your way preventing you from actually making that, doing that, or doing what you were called to do, they will be punished on their own, because that is the will of God. And it is written in the Bible in many places that those who make anyone who have faith in their calling to stumble will be punished by God. And it's that simple. And those of you who are not following your callings, you will be punished. It's that simple. And the punishment might not be for you. Note what I said earlier. Jonah went to sleep in the middle of the storm. He said, okay, I'll take a nap. Bye. And he went below deck and he took himself a nap. And so, you people who are going through it, you're just going through it, and your boat is just being rocked from here to there and being turned inside and out, and you're just going down the whirlpool and you can't figure out what's going on. Look around you. Look around you. Look at the people who are telling you that it's time to go. Look at people who are telling you, your family members who are saying, it's time we get the hell up on out of here. God told me that I need to go to Zimbabwe or Uganda or Tanzania or Ghana or South Africa, and you want to be stiff-necked and controlling and tell people, no, I ain't going nowhere. Why would you go there? God ain't telling you to do that. That's not for you. That is not of God. I'm not gonna, no, 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 no. Mm-mm. Even when you have clear, evidentiary, factual data and information, you make yourself stiff-necked and stubborn. You don't want to listen. So God is like, oh, you don't want to listen to the nice, soft, gentle calling? Well, how about this? How you like that? And it's happened to me, and it happened to Jonah, and it happens to other people, and it happens to people every single day. Okay? Think to yourself about what you are experiencing right now over there, and ask yourself, if 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago I had made the decision to leave when the Spirit told me to leave, would you be enduring that kind of experience? No, you would not, because you would be in a different space, in a different time, in a different place. Okay? I am literally talking to you from the future. I am 8 hours ahead of you. Okay, I am literally talking to you from the future. I am literally telling you and explaining to you the entire works of how things work when you have your calling. And this is the thing that I'm trying to say is, I think that I have been as obedient as I possibly could in my own power. And that is something that I can stand on. And it's something that I can own. And that's something that makes me stand erect and be tall about what I say and what I think and what I do. Because when I call to God, I need to be on the right side of what I was instructed to do. Has things happened to try to trip me up? Yes. Have people try to come in my path, in my way, to try to deter me from my mission? Yes. Have people gone and made other side videos and different instructions and try to poison the mind of the diaspora from coming to Africa, from investing in Africa, from bringing their money to Africa, from sending their money to Africa? Yes. Have people tried in many ways to try to capsize and overturn that repatriation floodgate that we experienced from 2020 all the way up until now? Yes. Have people try to taint and defame and undermine me and my work? Yes. Have I been faithful and obedient through it all? The answer is yes, because it is beyond flesh and blood and financial and all of this other stuff. It's beyond that. I am here following instruction, and until those instructions become different, I will be obedient to my calling, because I know who I am, why I am, what I am, and where I am, and how I got here, and who put me here. And them say in Jamaica, who God bless, no man curse. So there is nothing anyone can do in the spiritual realm that anyone can do to break the yoke, the relationship that I have built with my God, the faith and trust that I have in my God, whatever witchcraft or whatever bad blessing or whatever anything that anybody would like to use to come against me and my work and what I'm here standing to do. Your fight is not with me. Your fight is with God and his angels. Your fight is with Michael, Gabriel, Anael, Sakael, Uriel, Raziel, Zaphael. Your fight is with the warring angels. It is not with Renee, because I cannot fight you in the spirit. I am only flesh. I have a little bit of spirit, yes, but that is for you and God to go and work it out, because I didn't come here on my own. I came here obedient to the calling on my life. And if anyone would like to intercede between me and my calling and my purpose, you have the whirlwind to reap. You have the wrath of God to reap. You have reaction. You have retribution. You have those things that you must go through, not me. Okay, because I'm standing in my place. And that's what I want for people to know and understand. When you are obedient to God, he will make a way out of no way. He will create things that you didn't even imagine. He will open doors you didn't even know exist. He will move mountains out of your way. He will divide seas so you can pass through on dry land. He will remove all of the evil and heavy things that you think is too great for you. God will make a way for you if you are obedient to your calling. Okay, so my mentality and what I have in my God, my relationship with my God, right, is extremely strong. And why is that? Why is that? How can anybody in their right mind not know where they're going, pick up themselves and their little 4-year-old and get thee on a plane and go somewhere simply because it said so in a dream? I am obedient to those things because, as I said before, when you are visited with specific dreams, in my culture, we are very serious about those dreams. And if you go through the Bible, you can start from the beginning to the end. It's all about dreams. So if you're not obedient to the dreams that you're getting and the visions that you're getting, and then you wonder I wonder why my life is like this. Who's going to help me and save me now? But you're not obedient. You are not obedient. And many of you are obedient only to yourselves. You're obedient only and selfish only to what you want to do. Many of you don't realize that your purpose is to support someone else, and not to try to vie and seek and detach yourself or take away from that person and their calling. You might be called to be the understudy of an artist. And that artist needs you as the understudy. That artist needs you in practice. That artist needs you in so many ways, shape, and form. But you feel like you need to be the lead. You need to be the prima ballerina, and you are going to go all out until you get that spot. But remember, positions are elevations put there by God. Okay? So promotion comes from God. And if you believe that you should be in someone else's spot, then that is not promotion. That is covetousness. You covet what someone else has, and therefore you must, in any way, shape, or form, find a way to tear that person down so that you can have their position that you yourself did not work for. That is not promotion coming from God. That is covetousness by the devil. And you have to know the difference between the two. Okay? Many of you are put in place around people, and you don't want to be in those places, to be around surrounding people. You want to be in the White House, sitting behind the Oval Office, that in the Oval Office behind the desk in that chair. But you are unwilling to do the work. You're unwilling to do to do the certain things that you need to do. You're unwilling to do the education. You're unwilling to wait till you're in your 60s or 70s before you get into that seat. You are impatient, you are impractical, and you are disobedient. Because had you been obedient to your position, you would know that it is neither the time nor the place for you to get that promotion, get that position, get the thing which you seek. Okay? Many of you are called to guide and work with someone on their calling, but you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You don't want, you believe that your calling is for you to elevate to greatness without realizing that through your works you will be elevated. It's just like that. Through your works, you will be elevated. I don't believe that I would have gotten the same kind of work support that I got for all the projects that I've been running and doing if no one could look at my works. Okay? By their deeds, you shall know them. Okay, so you can't look and imagine, oh, I want to do what she doing, I want to have what she have, why she thinks she the only one. And that's the kind of mentality of people that I have encountered on this journey. And this is why I am still doing this, and I'm still doing it alone, because there's a certain kind of energy that I simply cannot entertain in my space for my own mental well-being, and for my own psychological output, and for my own relationship with God. I have to exclude certain kinds of energies that is not about community, that is not about growth, that is not about partnership, but about divisiveness, about us and them, and we're the only ones, and everybody else can go to the side. Those things are not of God. Okay, so yeah, I talk a lot about God and religion and whatnot, and I'm not a religious kind of person, and the reason why I'm not a religious kind of person is because I found a lot of hypocrisy. I have found a lot of hypocrisy, and I found a lot of demons who find themselves into the churches, into the place, to try to detract and deter and separate and divide and rip people apart. And I have had my fair share of bad experiences. So I saved myself to myself because I know what 1 + 1 is. But when you are involved in certain kind of practices with certain people, they want to tell you what 1 + 1 is. They want to tell you their version of what your calling is. They want to tell you what their version of what your specific instructions are, and no one can do that for you but God. Okay, so I put God in front of me, and at every people like, how you do that? You just do that? Yes, I just do it because I put God in front of me. You go ahead and you do it. Okay, you go ahead and you do it. So that's what I have to say. Who God bless, no man curse. You have a calling on your life. You know you're supposed to come to Africa. You know you want to be in Tanzania. Whatever it is that you think you know, come to the repatriation workshops. Come to Tanzania. Make bookings. Communicate with me. Talk to me. Talk to other people. But by all means, talk to somebody. Don't just sit there and say, well, I don't know what to do. Well, I got woken up out of my bed at 4 something a.m. this morning. I'm sorry, 3:30 a.m. to come and talk to you people about being obedient to your calling, being obedient to the thing that you know you must do and you're supposed to do. And as I said before, it is you who make the decisions for your family. It is you who are making the decisions for this generation and the generation to come. If by God forbid, something should happen while you were dilly-dallying and lollygagging and half-stepping and confusing and not sure what you're supposed to do, where you're supposed to, even though you know you got it, even though you know you got the instruction, even though you know you're directed to do it, and God forbid something should happen while you are pussyfooting around with your calling, it is a kind of shame and pain that I do not wish upon my own enemies. Okay? It is a kind of shame, hurt, pain, and agony that you will endure because you knew you were supposed to do it. You knew you were supposed to do something. You knew you were supposed to change the course of your family. You knew you were supposed to find yourself on the continent. You knew you were supposed to be doing something different. Even if you knew that you were supposed to, okay, let me get involved in this CMOS business so I could do something differently from what I'm doing every day. And God forbid something that is not of God that intercepts your happy way of life. You know what you're supposed to do, but you are confused. So I pray against the spirit of confusion. You need to know like how you know your name. Okay? But again, there is also a saying, many are called, but the chosen are few. Many are called, but the chosen are few, meaning those of you who choose to follow your call. Some of you are called and you're not choosing, and some of you are called and you're not obedient, and some of you are called and you are confused. Some of you are called and you don't know what to do. Okay. And I am out here for 3 years, almost 4 years, saying the same thing I have said, probably sitting in the same chairs I've always been sitting in, telling y'all the same exact stories, the same exact things that you need to hear. Is it that I can't find something else to do? No, I can find many other things to do. Is it that I can't, I have no background to go? No, I can go and do some other stuff. Okay. But I just feel like I am supposed to do this work. And I don't need praise. I don't need awards. I don't need recognition. I don't need any of that kind of stuff. But I know that I'm supposed to be doing this work and this is why I'm doing it. Can I go back to film editing? Yes. Can I go back to web development? Yes. Can I go back to all my technology and deploying mobile apps? Yes. Can I go back to developing trade between China and Africa? Well, I feel like I'm still doing that in some way, shape, or form. But the answers are yes, I can go back to those things. But the important thing for me is fulfilling my task, because I have already felt the whip of disobedience. Okay, so I will continue to remain steadfast. The protection of God will continue to guide and protect me, my household, my staff, my employees. I will continue to have the kind of growth and development that I need to grow strength to strength. Okay, and I don't think anyone really understands my commitment to seeing the growth of the diaspora, because when stuff pops off, like when it did in 2020, there was nowhere for none of y'all to go. There was nowhere for anyone to go. And if you think 2020 is behind us, watch and see. If you think 2020 is behind us, when COVID hit and y'all were finally aware and realized that the medical healthcare system was just to kill y'all, everything, you go to the hospital, you can't get any care. Many of you were on lockdown in uncomfortable circumstances. Many of y'all were in some really tough spots because of that COVID-19, because you were locked down and forced into certain types of things. Many of you had to run away from your jobs because you had to go get the vaccine. Many of you were so scared to death, and your eyes were open. Your eyes were open that you had not been prepared. You were like the virgins who did not put the oil in your lamps. You were not ready. Okay, and the only way to get ready is to stay ready. That's the only way you're going to be ready, is to stay ready. So use that as a warning. That is a warning. All them police killings, cops putting their knees on black boys' necks so they choke and die, shooting girls in their beds, all of that stuff, all of that grimy stuff, that was a warning. That was a warning. So you all know you're supposed to come up out of there. Get thee up on out of there. Stop the pussyfooting. Stop the lollygagging. Stop the if and butting. Stop, stop, stop. Okay? And this is not to say everybody get on up and go to Africa. Some of you are supposed to go to New Zealand. Some of you are supposed to go to Costa Rica and Mexico. Some of you are supposed to, because Africa is not for the faint-hearted, and it is not for the selfish. It is not for the people who do not have a community thinking. It is not for the people who can only see themselves and no one else around them. It's not for that kind of person. So not everyone is supposed to be in Africa. As Marcus Garvey said, he can't have everybody in Africa. Not everybody is supposed to be in Africa. But if you know you're supposed to go somewhere and you're supposed to leave, and I just said a whole bunch of other places, and one of those places were your destination place, go look at that place, because there are people who come and they do not understand. They don't understand what they need to do in order to survive here, in order to live here, in order to have an African experience, a good, healthy, and cohesive and happy experience, right? And if you're not willing to change, and if you're not willing to make certain strides in your social and mental growth, then you need to reevaluate yourself. If you're being called to come here, you have to mentally condition your mind to be here. It is not the West. It is not how things work in the West. It's not like how it used to be, because it will, yeah, yep, yeah. Okay, so Plum said what you're saying is not going to do what you are hoping it will do. Yeah. Your situation caused you to leave. Absolutely. Everyone is different, Plum. Everyone's situation is different. But what I'm saying is, the people those people who know that they're supposed to leave, those people who know that they're supposed to come to Africa, whether they've been called to Kenya or Tanzania or Ghana or South Africa, those people who know what they're supposed to do, they have to do it, right? So yeah, my situation caused me to leave, but what I'm saying is I didn't just say, oh, I'm going to Tanzania. Before I came to Tanzania, I knew I was supposed to come to Tanzania, and I did not come. I didn't come because I didn't know anyone. I went to prayer on my altar. I went to prayer and I said, God, I am yours. I was shapen in darkness, and in sin was I conceived. I am a seed of my father's seed. You have shapen me and taken me from the darkness from my mother's womb. You know where I should go and what I should do. That was 2019. And it was revealed to me. I went for a walk and found a Maasai bracelet. And when I went to go and Google the Maasai, Tanzania came up. I'm like, well, I don't know nobody in no Tanzania. And the next day I went to dispose of some broken jewelry, and I found this ring in the pawn shop, and I thought, it's this big, gaudy, cheesy ring. Who would want to wear that? It's fake, it's made of plastic. The stone is like looking some fake kind of stuff. And I'm like, I'm not wearing that. I am not interested in that. And I went to the bank and I walked back down the street, and the spirit said, well, child, if you like it, you're a grown woman. If you want to wear something, just wear it. And I bought it. When the jeweler went and he looked through his loop and said, I see inclusions. And he already sold it to me for like $20. So I took it and I left. And I did everything to find out what kind of stone this was. Some of you see me wear it. It's like pink and green and blue and purple in this one stone. And I thought it was alexandrite, but it's not. So with the help of Google, I found that this stone is a tourmaline. It's a watermelon tourmaline. So I went to go research the pockets of tourmaline in the world. Tanzania came up again. So this time I went back to my altar and I went back to prayer and I said, I do not know anyone in Tanzania. I have never met anyone in Tanzania. I have no business in Tanzania. I've never even heard of another person in Tanzania. I don't know nothing. Tanzania was like saying go to Greenland. I've never met a human being from Greenland. So it was just so far out there for me. And then so lo and behold, the next day I had to be in New York. This story I'm telling you, at the time I lived in Philadelphia, and I had to be in New York the next day. I went into New York. It was raining. I was in a cafe, and a Spanish couple came in and they asked for instructions, and I didn't feel like talking. I didn't feel like the person to save the day. And a lady gave them the directions for where they needed to go. And I was a travel agent for many years. I heard an accent, almost every accent I can pinpoint it. And this lady's accent, I thought she was, she was clearly African, but her accent was like Brazilian or Colombian. And, I sat there for at least 20 minutes trying to figure out, where did this lady come from? Maybe she was Portuguese, because she had like this je and sing in her voice. And I played what she said over and over and over in my head. And she got up to leave. And as she was at the door, I said, excuse me, miss. Hi, can I bother you for a minute? Where are you from? And she goes, Tanzania. And I'm like, so now this is three times that the spirit used a word and a place that I have never, what is, no, a word and a place for, I have never been. I have never met another human being. So I went to prayer and I said, God, I have never met anyone from Tanzania. And I offered this lady to buy her a coffee, and she sat down. I showed her my ring. I showed her my bracelet. She was from Arusha, and she started to talk to me. I was interested in the gem trade industry, and she started talking to me about gem trading. And that is the first and the last time I have met that woman. Okay. And I can tell you, though Tanzania came to me 3 times. And I knew I was going to leave from Philadelphia, but I didn't want to, I needed the instructions to where to go after I left Philadelphia. And Tanzania came in prayer 3 times. And in the 3 times, I rejected it. And I made an intelligent decision that I'm going to move to Mombasa, Kenya, because at least it's somewhere I've heard about. Even though I've never really known anyone in Kenya and I've never been to Kenya before, Kenya just seems safer. So I said, I'm going to move to Mombasa, Kenya. I found a house on the border of Kenya and Tanzania. And I said, if I'm going to go into the gem trade industry, at least I can leave from Kenya and come into Tanzania and and do gem trading across the border and travel, anywhere I need to go to do my gem trading business. That was the plan. I even made a documentary about the house I found that I wanted to live in. Go on YouTube and put the mansion in Mombasa, and you will see my name there. Okay, the mansion in Mombasa. And look at the date of when that was posted. That was posted in 2019. Okay, let me put the name of here. Mansion in Mombasa. And it's a big old white house at the ocean, at the Indian Ocean. It was a big, beautiful house. Go and put that in YouTube, the mansion in Mombasa. So I knew I was supposed to come to Tanzania. It had been revealed after prayer. And stiff-necked as I was gonna go to Kenya. I don't know nothing about nobody. I don't know nobody in Tanzania. I went to prayer and said, Lord, I don't know Tanzania. I know nothing about Tanzania. Why should I go to Tanzania? I have never even met anyone in Tanzania. And the day after I had that prayer and said, I use those words, I have never met anyone from Tanzania. I met the woman in New York from Tanzania, the first person from Tanzania I have ever met in my entire Black existence from Tanzania after going to prayer. So there was no doubt or any question where I was supposed to go. But like Jonah, I was going the opposite direction. I was not going where the plane was supposed to go. I was going up to Kenya. I had made a conscious decision about where I was going to go and how I was going to do it. Okay? Now, after getting all that revelation, I said, okay, I'm going to go do this gem trading thing. The gem trade school was more expensive than I thought it would be. They acted like I had the diamonds, not like I was going to, go and find a job in the diamond industry. And, I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to retool. I'm going to reskill all of my technology and my project management and my business development background is good for here, but not good for there. What is the one tool that I can take that will be universal all over Africa? So because I had made short films and edited things, I was able to apply for film school and I got a full scholarship to film school. And that is what delayed me, because the program at New York Film Academy for documentary filmmaking was only 1 year. So in that 1 year, I gave up my home in Philadelphia, moved to New York, and started to go to film school, right? And during that time, COVID-19 hit. And my town was the first town to go into lockdown. And you know the rest of the story. So I didn't move because of my situation. My situation moved me to where I was supposed to go. So go on YouTube. You're going to find something very, very interesting. The mansion in Mombasa. I posted that video in 2019. Do you know that when I moved to Tanzania, I found my own house? I lived comfortably in Ununio. 1 month after moving to Tanzania, I found this property 1 month. Do you know that this property that I'm sitting in right now talking to you from has the identical geographic layout as that mansion in Mombasa? That mansion in Mombasa had the ocean. It had the Indian Ocean, but it had the land. It had the a double lot. It had the land in front of the house before you get to the Indian Ocean. This property had the land at the back of the house. So when I came up here and I saw this land, the first time I saw it, I was like, "Oh hell no! I'm not down for no construction, nothing. I'm just here trying to just chill." And I had a vision to go back and see the place in the daytime. When I returned in the daytime, it hit me that it was the exact same layout. And what I did was I designed the ironworks. I designed all of the detail of the small things that you will never see, but things that I was so interested in that house in Mombasa. I designed this house from that house in 2019, 1 year later. So I am not here telling you that I moved because of my situation. My situation moved me to where I was supposed to go. And my child got caught in my disobedience. And if it can be better for you that you don't have to go through what I did, by all means, be obedient to that. Okay? My child was she was in the storm. She was in the storm of that whirlwind of what happened to Jonah. And Jonah went to sleep. But knowing what I know, that my child was experiencing something due to my disobedience, because had I left when I asked in prayer where to go and what to do and received the answer, had I left, I would not have had that hit. And so to avoid your hits, mine was a tap on the head. Okay, so at that I had to summon all of the strength and power of God, the angels and the ancestors, and go to war to win. Because what I did to get Johanna back was not simple, and I don't think any natural normal person could have done as I did and come out the way I did. But I knew I was being tested. And if I had survived that test, I would have a testimony. And I accepted the challenge. There is a part in my video where I got very quiet and I said, "Okay, fine, let's do things her way." Because I accepted at that point that was the test and I had to go through it. And I was tested and tested and tested, and I knew my right, and I was not going to allow anyone to break me and take my child forever. So I didn't move because of my situation. My situation moved me to where I was supposed to go. And that's what I'm trying to convey to people. And this is why I am standing firm and standing strong for those of you and who need to come. And I'm keeping the gate open, and I'm opening the door to those of you who would like to get involved in whatever part of the business that you see me set up here, whether that is in CMOS, whether that is booking the rooms, whatever it is that you're supposed to be a part of, or you've been called, or you're interested in doing, whatever it is that you see me doing here, it was designed for me to do that. And anyone that you have seen lift up their tongue, try to negate, try to detract, try to take down, try to tear down, every single person that you have seen, their reward has been returned to them, because I don't bother nobody. I'm not out here trying to attack anybody. I'm just here trying to do what I believe that I was called to do. Okay? And that is deliver as many people out of Babylon to their new geography. There is nothing that can be acquired if your environment does not support it. If you are looking for certain things, if you are a plant, I'm going to show you an even better example of an unsupported environment. Check this out. So you see this plant right here? It's just all gangly, right? It's not on a stick. It's not on a pole. It's not even having its right sunlight. The top of the leaves are green. The bottom of the leaves are brown, right? It is trying its darndest to hold on to life, but it's not in a supportive environment. It's not being supported. And that's you. Your environment is not being supported. That is what life is like in the West. You are living like this plant right over here, just unsupported and just like holding on to dear life and not and reaching for the stars and hoping eventually something will happen and maybe I will, but you're not in a supportive environment. You are not in an environment that is beneficial to you and your children. You're not in an environment that is supportive of you and your dreams and your goals and your aspirations. You are not in that environment. So this is what I'm trying to say to you. Come hell or high water, I am here because I am obedient to my calling, and this is what I would like to see more people do. Okay. So what are your ways? What are your ways? Herbal Natural Lifestyle says, what are the ways or methods you suggest earning a living while we are living in Tanzania? Now, it depends on you. It depends on your background. It depends on your experience. If you come to these repatriation workshops, what I do is I provide information based on you, your details, and your background of what you're looking to do or what you're interested in doing. If there are more of you, let's say it's a husband and wife, let's say it's a mother and, older children. Let's say it's, a brother and a sister. Let's say it's a couple, whatever it is. If there are more of you as a unit and you made a decision to say, okay, we want to get involved in this thing, you will need someone on the other side. You're going to need someone on the other side, whether that's in the United States, the United Kingdom, or whatever. You're going to need other people involved to help you to see that mission through. This is not easy. Doing this as a single person or a single parent is not easy, because you are the one who has to provide for everyone around you. And there is nothing done here for free. It can't be. It can't be. These people have no welfare. They have no food stamps. They have nothing. They live hand to mouth. So whatever they get today is what goes to supporting them today. So you have to also be considerate that you need to be hiring Tanzania to do things for you. The less people you can hire to do the important things, right? the stronger you are. So the important things, whatever business that you decide to do, is going to require a website. It's going to require some digital skills. It's going to require some graphic skills. It's going to require some kind of marketing skills. And then you have the other person who is in the field, who is actually out there buying the mangoes, doing the things that need to be done, doing that, and you have to be very clear about the roles. So I'm not going to say what can you do, what can't you do? What can't you do? If you came to Tanzania, there is a wealth of things that you can do. But what is your stomach for risk? Number one, because it's going to require some kind of input. Number two, what is your commitment level to doing this thing? And your commitment level is going to come from your passion. So if you have, okay, so husband, wife, 2 teens, and a 7-year-old family of 5. Okay, passion. It comes down to what interests you. Okay, so let's say, for example, I know what you do for a living. So let's say for a living, you are a herbalist. Let's just go by your name, your herbal natural lifestyle. You're a herbalist. You can get into the essential oils. You can get into cosmetics. You can just say, well, that's just way too much stuff, Renee. I would just like to do one thing. Well, why don't you come here and say, I'm going to make shampoo with all these neem. We have neem. Neem is like, having a neem tree. You don't have one neem tree in your yard, right? Out here, we have dozens of neem tree. And neem is versatile and used for anything and everything. And you can find it in shampoos, you can find it in lotions, you can find it in other products. And you can get behind this one thing and say, I'm going to make neem. I'm going to make neem oil, or I'm going to do something with these here leaves, or I'm going to do something with this root, or do something with this resin or this sap. Going by what you have in your name, you already have, I have the answers for you. You're interested in a herbal and natural lifestyle, and the herbs are here. Okay, they're not somewhere in the West growing up out of the concrete. The natural tropical disease fighting herbs that you are interested in, okay, well, pick one. You see, you're interested in everything. You're interested in the herbs, the sea moss, the wellness, the gluten-free, and the vegan foods. Pick one. And it's very important that you narrow it down to one, because when you have multiple interests, what you're going to find is that your direction is divided into multiple things. And none of these things all together work together in the way that you think it does. When you get here, when it comes to a manufacturing and a development perspective, pick one: herbs, sea moss, wellness, a gluten-free and vegan food. Maybe you come here and say, well, I found a gluten-free vegan food. I can, start a trade with the baobab powder. I can start a trade with, with the soursop leaf powder. These things it's important to narrow it down with one, because if you decide that you're going to go into this business and start exporting the seaweed, or start exporting that baobab powder, you're going to find that the more products that you have under that particular thing, you're going to need an export license for each and every one of them. So it's best to just zone in on one specific thing and say, yes, this is what we want to do. If you're interested in the sea moss, we already have the East Africa Seaweed Company. You're more than welcome to join forces with us and work with us, and we can pool our knowledge and our resources together. We have our farms, we have our products, we have our cafe, we have we have things that we are already there with. And so what we need are people who can help us get us to where we need to be. Because like I said, I'm doing the majority of the work by myself. So there is fabulous opportunities here, but you have to pick one. You have to pick one, because if you don't find a surgeon being a good cardiac surgeon and a neurosurgeon, you have to choose one in that and specialize in it and get down to the knowledge in it, because when you out here, it is very difficult to do multiple things. It's extremely difficult. But we have, so cashew is Tanzania's number one export. The seaweed is number two export. Then we have minerals. There are so many things. The herbs, if you're talking about herbs, it's here. If you're talking about developing a product around the herb or the herbal lifestyle, it's here. So what's needed in Tanzania are entrepreneurs to develop the industries, to pick an industry, develop it, work on it, and bring quality products to market from Tanzania. So that's there. But if you come to the CMOS workshop, I'm sorry, not the CMOS, the repatriation workshops that I host on the weekends, we also have one coming up tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern. I may change that time, but as it is today, it is 11 a.m. Eastern. So that's my email address for the repatriation workshop, so you can get some of the information that you need in order to to make conscious decisions about what you're looking to do. We have a space here for people who are looking to repatriate or come on their go see journey or come on vacation. This is the Exodus House. We have rooms here. This is a space that I had built specifically for the diaspora, so that they would have a place of peace and quiet and beauty that they can come and reflect on, number one, their journey, where they're coming from, and where they're looking to go. So if you are interested in coming to the repatriation workshops, please go ahead and send me a message. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Oh, okay. So Plum Jade is saying, yeah, I have one lady. Not one lady. I have a few ladies, but I'm going to do a live with them, those who want to be on camera, because that's a part of the things that I do. Is everyone has the right to their privacy. Not because I'm on YouTube means everyone wants to be on YouTube. So I'm going to discuss that with some of the people and see if they're willing to come on camera, talk to me, talk to others, so that people can be more interested in what is happening, right? So yeah, don't wait to be knocked over the head. Don't wait to have a situation. Don't wait to have confusion for you to make a decision. You can't do that. You cannot do that. It doesn't work that way. Not because you saw it work that way for me means that's the way it works. You don't want that, because you need to have your mental fortitude about you when you're going through your storm and you're going through your fire, and it is very, very difficult. You have to keep your eyes on the prize, and you have to know exactly what you're going through. You have to recognize it, call it by its name, and you have to appreciate it. If it's a fire, you have to say, or a thrashing, you have to say, this is a thrashing for my disobedience, period. And knowing that is a thrashing, like Jonah. When Jonah was on the ship and he went to sleep, and they were going through their storm and everything was happening, and they're like, well, what's going on here? you know and Jonah, they woke him up and said, how can you sleep? Call on your God. Do you know why this is happening? And Jonah responded, yes, it's happening because of me. Throw me overboard. He said, throw me overboard so that your storm can stop. Okay? He knew that it was him. He was certain that it was him. He told them that it was him. He knew that he was getting a thrashing because of his disobedience. He knew other people around him were suffering because of his disobedience. Okay? And you have to understand that not everybody has the mentality and the wherewithal to say, it's me. I'm the one who caused this. I created this. Let me go and fix it. I'll, just throw me overboard. And lo and behold, got swallowed by a fish and spat out in Nineveh, exactly where he was supposed to be. But when you go to Jonah book 3, in Jonah book 3, that's really the revelation. When you understand what happened when Jonah went to Nineveh, he went to Nineveh to try to tell those people to repent. He tried to tell those people that, listen, God have been looking at your life and y'all wicked. You need to go in fasting, and you need to go all y'all need to cover in sackcloth. You all need to repent of your ways. And if you do not repent, you will be destroyed. And funnily enough, they received the message from Jonah. They repented, they fasted, they put on sackcloth from the old to the young and even the animals. And they knew in themselves that God had stayed his hand of retribution from them. And so I'm bringing that message to you all. Okay? Don't be like Jonah. Don't be like Renee. Don't be like the rest of the folks that's running the other way. Don't do that stuff. Okay? Maybe I came out of the storm and Jonah came out of the belly of the fish, but there are other people who their storm is more permanent and lasting, and they have to suffer and deal with it, and they will never be able to recover from it. As if I did not have my wits about me, I would never have been able to recover from what happened to Johanna. Okay? So this is what I have to say to you is I was instructed to get up out of my bed. It's now 4:58, almost 5 a.m., to come and speak to you about obedience. So that book of Jonah, that story of Jonah starts with disobedience. God said go, he said no. And ended with obedience. He got there and he said, y'all folk, you need to revert. You all need to stop doing what you're doing because it's not going to work out for you. And they were obedient and followed the instruction. So it's all about obedience and being able to work through all of the details, work through all of that you've been called and told to do. If you know you're supposed to come to Tanzania, you're supposed to come to Africa, you're supposed to come to wherever, if you know these things, then by all means, get with it. If you've been meaning to communicate with me or contact me, there's so many people like, oh, I meant to contact you 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and then this happened and I was unable to, but I'm ready now. And I think to myself, well, if you were meant to contact me 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and you didn't, do you realize that what happened wouldn't have happened? And I can't say it to that person because I need to be sensitive, but at the same time, I'm saying it to y'all. Okay? Well, this is the thing. Any part of Tanzania with hills or mountains, I had a vision of, yes, there are hills and mountains all over this place. If you want to come to the repatriation workshop, or if you want to talk to me on one-on-one, talk to me and I will and tell me what it is that you saw about your specific vision in Tanzania, because there are hills, there are mountains, there is sea, there is all different kinds of things here. There are valleys, there are many, many beautiful things here. Okay? And from that, you will be able to have a better alignment of where you need to go and what you need to do. There are many things here. If you're talking about natural food, this is it. Okay, you can pick anything. You can pick the pumpkin and say, I'm gonna make something with pumpkin. I'm gonna make a pumpkin jam. I'm gonna make a pumpkin, a filling for pumpkin pie, and say, oh, I'm gonna go to Tanzania and I'm going to get the pumpkin and I'm going to get the, the natural, pumpkin without any pesticides and that was grown in a natural environment. And I'm going to raise my pumpkin and I'm going to develop my pumpkin, or whatever it is that you think you need to do. And that one thing can propel you to somewhere else, right? So what I'm saying is you can pick one thing, just one thing. There's enough natural things here, right? There's enough natural things here that if you had the wherewithal and the presence of mind to say, I want to do this thing, the resources are here. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Stay on track. That's right. Adina, stay strong. Stay strong. You're supposed to go to Kenya, and from the end of October to now, well, this is what you do. Keep praying. Keep praying. Keep praying against the illness. Keep praying against, anything that is coming against your trip or all the things that you're supposed to do. You're not the first person. You're not the last person. I hear this many times about people who they were coming, they got COVID, and then something else happened, and then they ended up losing their house. They ended up this, they ended up that. And, people who are looking to come and then they couldn't make a decision about when they were coming and what they were doing. And and illness, and then there was a death, and because of that they were distracted, and and then they ended up in a fight and their husband left, and all of this other stuff, right? Pray against that. That is what your Bible is for. That is what, just Google YouTube, prayer against illness, prayer against anything, speak those things out in the air. That is the importance of prayer. The importance of prayer is that you are using your vibration of sound and your energy to build protection, a wall of protection around yourself and around your environment. So speak into yourself positive things, work towards what you're doing, and I commend you for staying on track. Don't get distracted because you have no idea what is waiting for you in Kenya. Who is waiting for you in Kenya? What you need to accomplish in Kenya. You have no idea. You don't know, and you're not going to know unless you go. So when you see stuff like this, it's the enemy. It's the devil, right? It's the devil trying to tell you, well, I guess I shouldn't go then, right? And sometimes stuff happens, and it's like, I never question and say, well, I guess I shouldn't be here then. No, I know I'm supposed to be here. I know I'm supposed to be here, and I am the one who is supposed to set up this place and this space. So for those of you who are looking to come, you need to prepare yourself. Okay, prepare yourself. If you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. Preparation in this repatriation journey is going to be at least 99.9% of your success rate, because you're prepared. Okay, so go ahead and send me an email, communicate with me for the repatriation workshop. Those of you who are looking to purchase CMOS, or those of you who are looking to get involved in the CMOS business, those of you who are looking to support the mission, make a booking, make a donation, go ahead and send an email. And yes, donations are all appreciated. I'm out here by myself with a kid and I'm doing the work that I think I'm supposed to do. I have helped multiple people and I will continue to do so. I have staff to hire, I have people to pay, I have people that depend on me at the end of every month. So donations and support and bookings and buying the CMOS all goes to that, right? Because I cannot have any kind of growth if I have to do everything. I can't sweep the yard, I can't cut the grass, I can't fix the shower, I can't do everything that needs to be done and also do the other things proficiently as well. It simply isn't possible. So, hiring and continuing to keep my staff is also very important. So, those of you who are looking to come to the workshops, please continue to do so. And I also thank those of you who have come, those of you who have, come to the workshops, those of you who have come to Tanzania, those of you who have made your bookings, those of you who have supported this mission over the years, those of you who have supported the CMOS business and all that I'm looking to do with that. Things are tough here because, and it's something else that you all should know, is that there is no access to grant funding. There is no access to bank financing. And some of those things like really threw me for a loop because I set up all of the administrative things to reflect stability and support for the same kind of like institutional lending or grants, only to find out that the grant entity changed their criteria from just any company to 100% African owned companies. And many of the African owned companies do not have the experience or the skills or the background to proven experience rather to substantiate the kind of funding that the entities require. So, it's like a shifting goalpost. It's a consistently shifting goalpost. And, what I really need at this point in time to do this mission effectively, I need consistency and I need strong people. It's not time for the flakes. It's not time for the looky-loos. It's not time for the people who don't know what they want to do. It's time for the people who know what they want to do, know that they have a divine calling or something on their life instructing them to do specific things, and are not half-stepping, that they can step forward into whatever it is the future is. And you need to have a tremendous amount of faith. Emphasize that H. You need that faith in the unknown, in God. And you have to tap into a part of yourself that knows beyond all knowing and beyond all seeing and beyond everything else, that knows that at the end of the day, God got this, period. And it's scary and it's hard to process, but you have to have that faith. I would like to, finish part 4, but I have been very busy and I have a lot of responsibilities and resources required to do this. So for those of you who are interested in part 4, if you'd like to make a donation so that I am able to complete part 4, I will send you that link once it's completed and uploaded. So yeah, those of you who are looking to come, looking to make reservations, looking to be a part of the CMOS business, who would like to be a part of the repatriation workshops, please go ahead and email me. And if you have any questions, send them directly to me, okay? Let's see. Let me see what's happening in comment land. The workshop a one go. Oh, you can do a one-on-one. The one-on-one is a little bit costlier than the group workshop. The workshop is actually uh okay, yeah. So she asked if it's a one-on-one. So the workshop is actually a group workshop. You can book a one-on-one consultancy. The one-on-one consultancy, you have me all the time. The workshop, I can I have created a WhatsApp group, so I'll put all the information in regards to repatriation, all the things that you need to know, all the tools, the ideas that you need to know will be in that WhatsApp group. So you can do a one-on-one if you book a one-on-one. I also do scheduling during the week, and there are people who cannot make the workshops during sometimes the schedule, and I'll make adjustments for them. Okay? So go ahead and send me an email and let's continue the conversation. Right? Thank you, Plum. I appreciate that. Thank you. So I am going to run now. Stay obedient. Open your eyes, open your mind. Um, you know, begin praying. You're not going to get anything if you're not asking. If you're not asking the questions, how are you going to get the answers? If you're not, being obedient to your dreams and your visions, how are you going to receive the blessings? You have to tap into yourself. Let go of the distractions, let go of the destructive behavior, let go of the things that are stopping you from achieving the levels that you can achieve. Okay? Your children deserve it, your family deserve a better life, you deserve a better quality of life. If at the end of the day all you get is some sunshine, you deserve some sunshine too. Okay. Love y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.